Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx. Valentine.
It's Valentine.
Maybe I should add Valentine to your name.
I'll be your Valentine. I'll be your Valentine. Be my Valentine. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine. We love on a rise news. Happy Valentine's. But you guys are not representing. We got the memo.
I have a touch of red.
I'll agree with you. Okay, yes, so you're by yourself now.
Well,
all right. Rufai, we'll talk after the show.
Yes.
Okay. Well, good morning to you viewers and happy Valentine's Day. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe.
Your lipstick is compliant. I just noticed that.
Allow me to do my show. Okay. Will you allow me to do my show? All right. Happy Valentine's Day, viewers. In the United States, the White House on Monday defended the shootdowns of 3 unidentified objects in as many days, even as it acknowledged that officials had no indication the objects were intended for surveillance in the same manner as the high-altitude Chinese balloon that traversed American airspace earlier this month. The 3 objects, including one shot down on Sunday over Lake Huron, were traveling at such low altitude as to pose a risk to civilian air traffic. White House officials, however, ruled out that the objects had any connection to extraterrestrial activity. In Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday unveiled a wide-range assortment of operational assets acquired to strategically improve on the operational capabilities of the police force, particularly in crowd control and anti-riot operations, which includes a total of 127 operational vehicles. Buhari at the unveiling ceremony urged service chiefs and leadership of the Nigeria Police Force to provide adequate security in ensuring peaceful conduct of the 2023 general election, warning that the global community has high expectations in the country's security ahead of the polls. Then, the Lagos State government on Monday ordered a coroner's inquest to determine the cause of death in the case of the late Whitney Adedinron, a 12-year-old student of Chrisland Schools who died on Thursday, February 9th. The Lagos State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice gave the directive in a statement, noting that thorough investigation will be carried out to ascertain the cause of her death. Under sports, the Turkish Sports Federation on Monday announced the death of one of its basketball players, Nile Erdogan, who was found dead in rubble following last week's devastating earthquake that tore through the southwest part of the country. The 30-year-old, who played for Turkish Super League side Çankaya University, had reportedly gone to visit her grandmother in Malatya when the devastating earthquake struck, collapsing the apartment block where her grandmother lived. Erdogan's grandmother was also found dead in rubble as search and rescue continues in hundreds of Turkish and northern Syrian settlements in the hopes of finding more people. Finally, under lifestyle, Uche Aigbe, the presiding pastor of the House on the Rock Church in Abuja, who caused a stir on Sunday after he climbed the pulpit with an AK-47 rifle, was arrested on Monday by the Federal Capital Territory Police Command. The FCT police spokesperson said the pastor was arrested because his message and demonstrations were considered inciting by various media outlets and social media users. While discreet investigation has commenced, the police urged members of the public to shun the utterances and actions of the pastor that they say is in breach of extant laws that prohibits civilian possession of AK-47 rifles.
God is not a magician. God is not a diviner. Yes, he knows everything from the past to the future, but he does not use your past to manipulate you. That is why we need to carry our guns and defend our faith.
Yeah, this video has been trending, and obviously that's why he got arrested. Like I said in my headline, it is illegal to carry AK-47 rifles. He's been arrested, and right now he is detained, and he's still under custody. But I mean, I don't understand what was going on with him. Apparently, he got that rifle from an inspector, a police inspector, who actually was asleep while this whole thing was going on, Dr. Bati. What do you make of this story?
Well, the law says for you to carry a gun, you have to get a gun permit from the police, the appropriate authorities. But the Nigerian government are taking a decision at a time under the gun laws of the country, Firearms Act,
yes,
which is called, that you cannot carry automatic rifles, you cannot carry combat rifles. So carrying such a rifle and not having a license to it, I think that is the issue. Being in possession of an AK-47, not having the license to it, will be the issue that the security agencies will be looking at. And it's important that they have invited him for questioning. But even the message that he was putting across, he said, we must carry our guns to defend our faith.
How?
That's what he said
That's how,
in
how?
that video.
Does it mean
so must you carry guns to be able to defend your Christianity? So because the statement that the church put out said, Pastor Aigbe, that's his name, is using the gun to illustrate. But to go to the extent of using guns, rifles, to illustrate a point in the Bible, I think that's quite extreme. I mean, these are people who preach that Jesus died on the cross, as we all know, and that God has taken away all our sins by sacrificing himself. And yet you find these latter-day pastors, they not only now carry guns, they also use sirens. They go about with bodyguards. And look at how he's carrying that gun in what looks like a menacing manner. We just know, we've been told that it was not loaded. But the security agencies will do their work. Second, if indeed he took it from a policeman who is part of his security team, where that policeman is a breach. He's not supposed to hand over his rifle to somebody who is not a uniformed member of the Nigerian police. It's a gross act of indiscipline. And that particular police officer or security officer may lose his job in the process. Now, I've seen some comments that people have been making that, okay, the state authorities are getting excited, arresting a pastor because he's carrying AK-47. Now, what have they done about the bandits using AK-47 like walking sticks all over the country under the name of, pursuing some daredevil, agenda against the Nigerian state? That the energy that they have put into the arrest of this pastor, we would also like to see them put the same energy into arresting those bandits who even brandish their AK-47 on television and boast that there's nothing that the Nigerian state can do against them. But however, that's no justification. If you break the law, you cannot offer the defense that after all, this other person did the same thing. No, the law does not operate like that. It's the man that is caught that has committed an offense. But the pastor has apologized, but I don't think the law looks at apology.
Absolutely.
If you commit an offense, you must be ready to face the music. And I hope other pastors will take their lesson from this. Nobody should go about carrying guns in the name of preaching the Bible.
Name of illustration. Rufai.
It was very, very terrible judgment. It was in poor taste. And this is very sad for the church. Yeah. So sad. And he has to face the full wrath of the law. There is no how he's going to put himself out of this. Yes, he wanted to make a point. He wanted to illustrate, not to the extent of going to carry guns from somebody and trying to illustrate and bringing the gun on the pulpit. That's even spiritually wrong in the first place. What were you trying to do in the church? And I'm sure the church will speak to him. He's going to face the penalty for this. And it's also, a message out there to all those people that think they want to illustrate in the name of catching attention and things like that. They should be careful, because you are just one step away from breaking the law of the land. And this was uncalled for. If you wanted to preach about how we needed to defend our faith, there are many other things at which you can do. There are many other ways of illustrating, not carrying live weapons on stage because you want to prove a point. What got over him? This is very, very sad and highly condemnable. Anyway, the church has put a statement out there, and it was along the lines of what you said, Dr. Abatia. I think Ayotu, we had talked about this before. I think the church will be able to set up their own internal mechanisms to watch him and be able to do the needful. But I know he too will have a feel of the repercussion, which
Absolutely.
is sad. They would discipline him internally.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking.
It's quite like Rufai mentioned, poor judgment on his, I think his zeal overtook a good reason, unfortunately. That's Pastor Uche Aibe of a popular church in Abuja. And I'll just speak from the point of the church's response. I must applaud them for responding very quickly to this. And unlike in other areas where they'll try to shield or lie or cover up, they mentioned that yes, he did this and was poor judgment on his part, and that they condemned any form or semblance to violence. Commend them for that. And they also mentioned that they were going to cooperate with security services to ensure that they followed the complete process. Also, the inspector whose rifle he was holding is Inspector Musa Audu. They said is also going to face orderly room trial.
Yes.
So the police is also not taking this lightly. And this is important because we see policemen who protect private citizens. And sometimes you see pictures where they are posing with the policemen's guns, and Nigerians perhaps do not understand the gravity of what they are doing. It's quite unfortunate he's caught in this, and like Doctor said, he's apologized and owned up to the fact that he was wrong, but it wouldn't suffice. He would still have to be, in this case, used as an example for being, using a rifle on stage, whether on stage, on the ground, anywhere. Very wrong.
Well, all right, let's continue what's trending. Discussing an audio clip that went viral over the weekend, recorded by yet-to-be-identified persons. In the 11-minute audio clip, residents in Gbara, in the Eti-Osa local government area of Lagos State, were threatened to vote for the All Progressives Congress or risk eviction from the community. The spokesperson of the Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Hundeyin, on Sunday confirmed that the police were carrying out a forensic analysis on the audio to identify those behind it. Let's take a listen to a short clip of the audio before we come back for a discussion.
What you are going to do, because I know that some of you may not be voting here, but you'll be voting in different other places. For you to continue to do business here, we must see who you voted for. We must see it, we must see it. And when you are voting, you have your phone. You can snap the party you voted for. It is secret ballot. You collect you do your bimodal, you take your card, you vote. When you vote, snap what where you voted for. If we did not see APC there, you are in trouble. We will fight. Tell your daughter to snap it for you. Yes. I don't know, but what we are saying, this is not a threat. Let me tell you, it's not a threat, so we are telling you the facts. If you think you want to do your own way, do it. We are not agreeing with you. It's not a threat. Wherever you are doing your business, you are able to feed your family, your wife, and send your children to school. Whatever they do in that place, you have to do it. Because if those people did not accommodate, you won't be able to stay there and be doing your business. And that's what we are telling you. If you want to continue to do your business here and do it peacefully, harmoniously, and take the gains to your states, do what we want to do. Do what we have asked you to do. Go to the party that we have been going. Unlike before, we do go and beg. Please, we are not begging this time around.
Well, I had a chat with a police spokesperson, and he said that there'll be more details for the story later on in the day. But I mean, this is what is going on here. I cannot understand. If this man says that was not a threat to those people, I don't know what it is.
Of course, it is a threat. And the police, I don't know what details the police claim that they are coming forward with. Forensic analysis of the audio. Which forensic analysis? look, some of these spokespersons, what's his name again?
Benjamin Hundeyin.
Yes, look, when they come to the public, let them at least, say something that will be believable. The community in the audio has already been identified as a Gbara community in Eti-Osa local government. The policemen in Lagos State saying they don't know where that community is. 2 persons spoke in that audio. That was 11 minutes, 34 seconds. A man who is described as the Bale, the traditional ruler of the area, and another man referred to as SHG, who was mandated by the Bale to complete the statement. So, I'm not a policeman, but I think common sense will suggest that that community haven't been identified, the persons haven't been identified. Why is the police wasting time? They should have gone to that community to go and pick up the leadership of the community to start with. But the problem we have here, and we've made this argument again and again, that the Electoral 2022, everyone praised it as a major breakthrough.
Absolutely.
But the problem is that the security agencies are not enforcing that act. And INEC is unable to enforce it because INEC says it is already overstretched, which is why the INEC is asking for an election tribunal that can deal with electoral offenses, as has been recommended, by panels and by other commentators on the subject. If you look at Section 93 of the Electoral Act 2022, it forbids violence in any shape. Has anybody been arrested in all the cases of violence that we have seen? The security agencies are nowhere to be found. Section 128 of the same Electoral Act talks about undue influence. You cannot threaten people, you cannot influence people. So the evidence in this video is that those 2 sections have been violated, and there are penalties. There are penalties in the law for those 2 offenses. Now, in that same audio, the people are saying, if you don't vote for our party, you cannot do business in this community, and that you will live with the consequences. They are even advising people to take phones to the polling booths.
Yes.
I hope INEC is aware, and that INEC will make sure that nobody takes phone to polling booths to be taking pictures, to go and show community leaders who are threatening violence. And then on top of it all, the SSG man said they were mandated to come and tell members of their community that this is how they must vote. And the Bale said, look, don't jeopardize his future and the future of his children. No.
Yes.
So there's selfish interest there. The question for the police is, who mandated them to go and threaten people to vote in a particular manner? The real danger here, the real fear, is that this may not be the only community where this is happening.
Absolutely.
It may be happening everywhere. Only God knows the number of traditional rulers who have threatened, in some cases, to take people's wives forcibly if they don't vote for the party of their own choice. That's not democracy. That's feudality.
All right, we've been talking, and I'm going to take 2 stories before I come to you so we can discuss all. We've been talking about, you mentioned voters cannot be induced. I've been getting videos, if you can pull those videos up, of, the APC sharing all of these, I don't know what to call them, souvenirs on social media. Here is one Taylor who actually said that I will take this, but I will not vote the APC. And then there's another one with the wine here. I mean, I don't know what to call this if this is not inducement. Well, in the meantime, the presidential campaign of the All Progressives Congress held its rally at the Gombe Township Stadium on Monday, where the party's flag bearer, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, told supporters that if given the opportunity to lead the country, the people of the state will witness development in such a way that would make Gombe State one of the richest in the country, and urged them to vote for the APC at both the federal and state levels. Well, over the weekend, the APC flag bearer was welcomed by a massive crowd in Kebbi State, where They held their rally to canvass for votes. Tinubu promised to industrialize the state through agriculture if elected president, and went further to urge his supporters to vote for him on January 25th, which unfortunately was either 3 weeks ago or next year. Let's take a look.
What about our opponent do? You take your PVC on the 25th of January. Just go to the vote with your PVC on top. President APC. Bam.
Rufai, bam. All right. Do you think it's next year or the 3 weeks ago that he meant? Quickly.
See, I'm nursing the ambition to say this might be doctored.
Yeah, okay.
I'm nursing that ambition. But you see,
or swag.
It might be a swag,
Okay,
you know,
nice.
we don't know,
Like
you know, yeah. Or it might be, you know, a way of humor, you know, just to be able to. But I want to say something about what is happening in the Gbara community. There are many communities where people are being forced to vote for certain political parties, are being threatened against their will, but the authority should do more. Labour Party supporters were attacked in the rally. Have we heard a lot of arrests? Nothing. There were copious notes of police officers standing in front, looking at people being attacked, and they did nothing about this. If we want to build this country, have good elections, the police must stand tall and not be seen as partisans.
Very quickly, Ayo, 1 second.
Just 1 second. I think INEC also has a responsibility in terms of vote buying and inducement. Maybe they need to clearly define what is that. We've seen bags of rice, we've seen party logos clearly pasted on it, and nothing is being done. INEC has to sit up.
All right, then. Well, thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.